So this is Conversations in Black Freedom Studies. And so partly we wanted to start here tonight with that question of what does it mean to take back the legacy of the war on poverty, to grapple with the many, many ways that the war on poverty provided a safety net, provided opportunities, provided pathways to college, provided pathways to jobs, legal services, and then what does it mean to reckon with what happened afterwards? And so we have 3 great books tonight. We're going to begin with Crystal Saunders' book, A Chance for Change, and we're going to begin in the war on poverty with Head Start. Then we're going to have Elizabeth Hinton talking about her new book, From the War on Poverty to the War on Crime, and looking at what happens as the country's commitment to a war on poverty proves, if short-lived, to say it nicely. And then finally, we are going to finish with Alejandra Marchevsky talking about a book that she and I co-wrote together called Not Working, but in particular focusing on some of our new work on 20 years after welfare reform.
In 1966, and again I'll emphasize 1966, a year after the Voting Rights Act was signed, white supremacists killed Vernon Dahmer, a black businessman based in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, simply because he encouraged African Americans to vote.
Poverty. For activists, organizers, and residents of segregated low-income communities throughout the United States, and Crystal again gave a sampling of the ways in which these funds were used in Mississippi, maximum feasible participation opened the door for radical approaches to disrupting existing racial hierarchies and exercising the claims to self-determination demanded by mainstream civil rights leaders in the mid-1960s.
So under federal law, families may receive TANF for a lifetime maximum of 5 years. However, most states limit it to 2 years or less. So what this actually means is that if you've been on welfare in most states for 2 years, even if you don't find another job or have no other form of income, you're done for life, okay? And that is true in over half of the states in the US.
You know, I'm a little bit wary of work-only solutions to poverty, partly because I think we simply don't have an economy today that can employ everyone, and so we need a safety net that acknowledges that. But also, I think I really want us to kind of honor the different kinds of productive work that various people do in society.
So initially, the war on poverty appeared to address material want and want of spirit, and it also looked at educating or providing for children by improving the lives of their entire families and their communities. So it was to be a community effort. Now, unfortunately, we've gone away from that model over time, especially in the 1980s when OEO fell apart and it became much more state-based and grant blocks given rather than the initial funding setup that had been used in the first years of the poverty program.
Ending the war on drugs is not, and even if we decarcerated every single person who was in prison for a drug offense, we would still be the largest prison system on the planet. So it's not just about ending the war on drugs, it's about rethinking criminal justice completely, rethinking our draconian sentencing, rethinking why we punish groups of people and target them in the ways that we do. So it's a comprehensive thing. Reentry is going to be increasingly important in this moment of decarceration. And
I'm so delighted by the youth activism that I see today. You know, I think about the Dream Defenders, I think about Black Lives Matter, I think about the National Immigration Youth Justice Alliance, I think about the Dreamers. Like, we are living in a moment where young people are politicized, are militant, are making important connections across issues, are really, I think, in lots of ways drawing kind of really interesting connections between lots of different forms of state violence.
Historically, we've got to let go of white supremacy. We've got to let go of racial inequality. And as this election has actually made very clear, there are large portions of our fellow Americans who are unwilling, resistant, and will fight to preserve white power.